You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
I want to talk about news, don't want the drama. From no pretentious media Madonna. I found me a great ganja mama. Cannabis and coffee with some marijuana.
Good morning, folks, and how's everybody doing this morning? It is, me covered in chocolate. I had no idea if my shirt was dirty. Well, we might have to change that here, but it's my Neil shirt because it's substitution day, right? So, yeah, that's terrible. Hang on, I'll be right back. I honestly don't even know how that happened because I haven't eaten anything this morning. I was trying to get my caramels cut up and oh man, they just look like crap. So guess after my show I'll be making another batch and taking it out and see if I can, figure that out. But I am now officially on medical leave from work. I have decided that I need to take some time to get my health back in order. I've been living with, stage 9 pain every day. The only thing that kind of helps deter that pain is, cannabis, and I can't be smoking it every day all day at work. So as much as I loved my job, well, I loved it to a point, and then yeah. So anyways, I'll be around a little more, I guess. Able to do a little more research, spend a little more time doing the things I love, rather than working 6 days a week, standing on my feet, in pain, fucking struggling to even hold the fucking use the till to lift my arm. I'm just done. I'm done trying to fucking work in pain. Seriously, some days I can't even open my hands or bend my fingers, but I'm there. And the unfortunate thing is I have to take opioids to get there. And I don't want to keep doing that. I shouldn't have to live in fucking pain and then try and fucking maintain a job. Because the BC government figures that it's okay to fucking leave women financially fucking fucked because they figure that because you're married, your spouse should take care of you. I don't know when the 1950s fucking didn't catch up with 2025. But I'm fucking here to tell you, I don't want no man fucking having to pay for me. But I shouldn't have to fucking work my ass off for a lousy $3,000 fucking less than $3,000 a month to fucking feel like I'm fucking human. It's bullshit. And that's exactly how they make you feel. The BC government literally leaves you as a woman financially fucked if your husband makes more than $25,000 a year. Who in their fucking right mind can live on $25,000 a fucking year with 2 people? I can't understand how this government makes everybody feel like they have to be crapping and stretching and fucking struggling all the time. I know we've got a new government, but this is provincial shit, okay? The benefits and your social services and your healthcare and stuff is provincial. So again, we're looking at the same BC NDP that has been here for the last how many ever fucking years, and they're still fucking leaving financial fucking stress for people, for women especially. How you doing, Game Pro? Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you coming on in. But again, like I said, this does relate to cannabis in a way, because if a woman is on benefits, she's a cannabis patient, but she's married, she can't even get it. But they leave you so limited. I think they give you like fucking $800 to live on. Your rent's 2,000. Like, how in the fuck is anybody fucking managing? So if you're a cannabis patient, you're minimally paying usually about 5 to 10 grams, even if you're having to use the retail spaces, right? It's not fucking free. I mean, 3.5 grams is like $19.99 plus taxes sometimes. But is that fair? Is it fair that cannabis patients should be paying fucking taxes on their medicine? I don't know. I mean, I don't pay taxes on my fucking morphine. I don't pay taxes on my methotrexate or my fucking any of the rest of them, but I sure have to pay taxes on my fucking cannabis. But yet it's medicine for me. And even if you buy from the licensed producers directly with your MMA or your ACMPR, you're still paying fucking GST and PST. Like, what? Well, I'm glad you're doing well. Whereabouts are you from, Game Pro? You're on the YouTube channel. So thanks for subscribing, and leave the rest of you tap your screens, and make us famous. We've been doing this for so long, we've given up on being famous. To be fair, we don't care. That's not why we do this. This is education. We do it to actually tell our stories and try and bring patients together. Other people that use cannabis as medicine share their stories so that they can actually like maybe learn something from somebody, or share what they're. Anyways, here's another funny story. So I use one of the legal stores on a regular, and their boss, brought in a bunch of stuff to just give away. It's been passed, whatever. So I was gifted this beautiful CBD tea. I won't say what provider it's from, and the packaging date on it is April 27th, 2020. I don't know about you, but anything packaged 5 years ago, I don't care whether it's got no expiry date on it, I ain't fucking touching it. Well, that'd be great. I think this network, I started this show like 12. Actually, me and Alan now were trying to figure out actually what year we did start this. So I moved here in 2014. I think it was just shortly after that. So I think I started this 2013 or 2014, 2015. I don't think I was, I think I was doing this actually in Coronation before I even moved here. I'd have to actually go back to my Facebook memories and look, because I remember Ross doing my first logo. And that was, I think, before I even moved to Cranbrook. I don't want to be famous. I'm not cute enough to be famous. But again, like I said, we've been doing this for a really long time, and our goal is just to reach out to people that use cannabis as medicine and tell their stories, or have them come on as a guest and tell their stories, because we all have different experiences. Everything is different for everybody. But I appreciate that. But the numbers would be good. We can't share this kind of information on TikTok because TikTok doesn't like it. And it would be so much better if we actually had a channel on TikTok, because that platform really gets a lot of things out. But again, YouTube does too, so that's also a good thing. Again, today I'm wearing my medicinal shirt. We've had a couple Pace radio shows in the last few weeks that have done a lot of memorials due to the passing of Marco Renda. In fact, I was honored to be able to sit with Jeff Tech last week, Michelle Rainey's husband. And Michelle's been gone now for, God, almost 17 years, I think it is now. 17, 18 years. But this was the first medicinal shirt that I ever bought. And I bought this shirt when I got off the plane from Ottawa in 2012 after I got my license signed for the first time. So this is my original medicinal shirt. I have several others, but I love Weed Lab, a member of that community and active cast member. If you show up 3 times in the chat. Oh, that would be great. Maybe I can have you on as a guest sometime, Game Pro or Gam Pro, because we like to share content with each other too. Because are you in the States? Let me see whereabouts are you located? Are you in the US or are you in Canada? Because I'm in Canada. But yeah, we can share content. That'd be terrific. So maybe we'll have to hook up after. You can follow me on Facebook on my group, or you can follow me, Tamara Cartwright. I don't care. My name's like out there. Oh, Buffalo, New York. Nice. Well, I'm in British Columbia. So, all the rumors about the BC bud, they lied. All Canadian weed is actually pretty good. We've come around, right? Southernmost Canadian as a southernmost Canada. Yes. Well, that 49th parallel. They would have just not used the ruler. But yeah, I'm in the southeast corner of British Columbia. So I'm not on the West Coast. I'm in the Rocky Mountains. It runs right along the BC Alberta border. I'm just on the kind of on the other side of the Alberta border. And I grew up in I'm from here, but I grew up in southern Alberta, which is super Bible Belt. And I did the first global marijuana marches and started Southern Alberta Cannabis Club in 2006 in Lethbridge, Alberta. And then I moved to Coronation, so then I had Central Alberta Cannabis Club. But yeah, I did a lot of activism in Alberta before legalization. And then Alberta's like opened right up. And Alberta's got like Nelson, BC actually tried to get an open air cannabis lounge, like a patio where you could actually consume cannabis outside and Nelson, BC City Council refused it. They said no. Nelson, BC of all, but Edmonton, Alberta and Calgary, Alberta have vape lounges. Alberta has more cannabis stores per capita than any province in the fucking country. And back when I was the one that did 6 months house arrest for 4 grams of cannabis in the mail in Alberta. Ask me if that pisses me off. But yeah, so Nelson had actually lobbied or, put a proposal in front of their city council to have an open air cannabis lounge, like not inside, like outside on a patio, where you're not inside, No, they were turned down. And I was kind of hoping that they'd actually get it because Nelson is the kind of, area out here where a lot of people were, involved in the legacy market and such. So Nelson would be the place that would be forefronting like these lounges and open air things. We figured that would be great. And then it would be precedent setting for the other communities in the Kootenays and all across British Columbia for that matter. And they said no. I was kind of flabbergasted when Paul, because my friend Paul and Alan opened the first basically cannabis bong store in Nelson. It was called the Holy Smoke. And if you go back and you Google the Holy Smoke, they were actually in a court case and they actually tried challenging and they actually eventually got shut down. I believe Alan went to jail for a bit. I'd have to go back and it's been a few years. Yeah. Okay, so on every 15 minutes, I do something called Rip and Dip, where people hop up on a panel and smoke and chat when they rip and dip. That's what I'd kind of like to do on this too. We do that on TikTok, where we have a panel that comes up. And like I said, if I had your Facebook handle, I could send you a link to this, and then you could pop in here. And that ultimately would be like what I'm doing. I appreciate that, but like eventually. If I could get like people to come on a panel here, we reach out to guests. Legalization has really slowed things down up here for people that want to come on as guests. Because if you're working in the legal market, you're technically not really allowed to tell anybody what you're doing. They're not allowed to advertise. Packaging is all blah blah, secret, regulated, right? If you're in the legacy market, you don't really want to tell anybody what you're doing either, because you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Us patients too, like we're sharing amongst ourselves and stuff, but we don't want to draw a lot of attention to ourselves if we're sharing things, not just education, right? I don't think the RCMP up here are actively looking, but I don't know. And we still have laws against cannabis in Canada. Like just because it's legal or per se legal, it's regulated. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can just go free for all with it. You can't. Like you can't grow more than 4 plants. You can't. And here's a funny thing, like you can give it away up to 30 grams, but they want you to use the legal market. But if you grow your own, it's kind of like iffy because if you get caught with your own giving away, I don't know how that works. I've never had anybody have it happen to them. It's a matter of proving that you actually grew it yourself. Because they want everything barcoded. They wanted like from seed to like, barcode, like everything cereal from seed to plant, to track it. I mean, there's so much wrong with the legalized market than there is right. Like, I mean, like I said, I appreciate the fact that nobody's getting busted for joints. I'm on Insta too, but I'm also more on Facebook. But yeah, you can you can. If you're on Facebook, you can just look me up there, or I can actually. I don't care. I just put my email address is tamaralee3@gmail.com. And I put that out there because for cannabis substitution, I take fund donations and stuff, and I use that email for that. So if you reach out to me on tamaralee3@gmail.com or whatever it is, yeah, and then send me links and stuff, and then like I said, I just started medical leave away from my job. So I will have time because normally I would be working till 10 o'clock at night. And now I'm not. So that gives me time to actually get back involved in things that I want to do because this working during the day would be great, but they won't provide that for me. And my health needs me to be home and in bed and eating properly before, and I 10 o'clock's too like, and I know it sounds booby and but I'm 55, right? I've got rheumatoid arthritis, I've got attention deficit, I'm going through some brutal menopause shit. I started a bunch of more medication, bunch more tests. My scoliosis that I wasn't fixed when I was a kid is causing me grief. And they're expecting me to stand on my feet for 7 hours a fucking day, sweep, mop, and fucking stock shelves. And then get nobody else to help me. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of being taken advantage of, living with chronic pain and not being able to even get benefits. My husband has like benefits through his job, but it doesn't cover me for short term. This job has no benefits. I don't get covered. I'm married, so in British Columbia, I'm not allowed benefits. Like, is that not financial fucking abuse? I find that it is. Oh my God, my lighters. You know when you need a lighter and you can't find a lighter that works? Give me 1 sec. I'm going to get my lighter. But yeah, like I said, I went back to work after my son was able to take care of himself kind of after school, and worked at a bakery, which was great. And then I went and got my dream job, which was supposed to be the cannabis expert at the local garden center. Well, that ended up being a fucking joke because I wasn't cannabis expert or anything. I brought in Remo's nutrients to the store. I was giving advice, but then I was, basically shoved off, told to pack garbage, told to pack fucking dog food, told to pack soil, and run behind a till. It's not what I was hired for. Anyways, so I left that place for medical too because I was in a flare for my RA. I just couldn't pack 50 fucking pound bags of dog food. Like, there's no fucking way. So I was supposed to stay off work then. That was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. And I went and found this little job at a local little Korean grocery store thinking it would be, less harsh on my body and whatever. And it was fine for a while. But I was overworking myself. I worked 6 days a week. I pushed myself. And now I push myself to the point that I can't work anymore again. So I'm not. I've neglected my life, my house, my dogs, my kid, like, all in the name of fucking a lousy fucking little bit of money a month. Fuck it. I just can't. I just can't anymore. So I'm not. I'm gonna educate, and fucking bake, and help patients, and continue on with my cannabis substitution program, which I do. And now I will have more time to bake. In fact, I was gonna cut up some caramels and take them out to the res this morning, and I looked at them and went, no, those aren't very good looking. Hang on a second. I'd have to check my phone. Hang on. Oh, you probably check your phone. I don't. Where's my ashtray? Let me take a look. Looks like I probably did. I did. Awesome possum. That's awesome. Yes, I did. So now you've got everything. I just sent you one back. Now you even got my fucking address. But yes, I did. Thank you. I will be there. That is so awesome. Thanks for the invite. I think that's terrific. Like I said, especially with your orange potato. Like, we don't have any problems with you Americans. We got a problem with your orange potato. Don't fucking fuck with us. I mean, you're from New York, right? The orange potato, like, yeah, he's like, no. So I love that. I love that you're in New York and that we can share our stories and cross hands across the border, eh? And share what you know, and then I can share what you know, and maybe we can educate and together. So next time, now that I've got your email, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but I can always send you a link. Maybe next Monday you want to come up on the show if you're not busy, and we can share some education too. Thanks. That's so awesome. I love that. Yay! See, I was supposed to go to Toronto. We were supposed to have a CannaFest or like a cannabis expo kind of thing, in I think it was March. And then it got canceled. And I was so looking forward to that because I love going out to Toronto and networking and meeting new people because, like I said, I've been in the cannabis industry for a long time. It's always this time. It's always noon Mountain Standard Time, every Monday. is when I'm up. And then we also have a show on Wednesday nights too, which is at 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So you're 2 hours ahead probably. So it's probably like what, just after 2:20 your time right now, because you're probably the same as Eastern Standard, where the network actually is. Like we're kind of coast to coast. Like we've got some content makers that are in the eastern part of Canada, in Halifax area, like Nova Scotia, and then the producers are both in Ontario, but very like one's in northern Ontario, one's in southern Ontario, and then I'm over here in British Columbia. We don't have any content coming out of Alberta anymore. I used to be the Alberta content too, before I moved to BC. But yeah, like I said, we've got and then we try and bring in guests from across the coasts, like and across the country. And then we've got yeah, a lot of content on psychedelics and everything. But you know this. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know. But I'm excited. I'm excited to meet you. Again, like there's so many differences between like even the medical licensing here for like large production comparably to if you're a patient. So if you're a patient, but I'm hearing some really disturbing stuff that actually the government is making it so difficult in the College of Physicians that you're not able to get a licensing for probably anything more than about 7 to 10 grams anymore. Now, we know that there's a lot of people that use extracts, which you need a larger amount to be able to bring down to use that medicine. And you need more than, well, you get, and this is the funniest, I've been saying this for so long too. So medically in Canada, you're allowed 5 plants per 1 gram, right? So if you get 10 grams per, that's 50 plants, right? It was 49 plants for 7, I think, when I had my first prescription. And then so it's like 15 or 20, yeah, what was it 5 times 10, so it'd be 50 plants, right? Is that how that works? Anyway. No. Yeah, anyway. But when in the rec market, you're only allowed 4 plants per household, not per adult, per household. So if you've got 3 adults in your house, you can only grow 4 plants. That doesn't even give you 1 gram for anyone in the medical equations, right? So now they're kind of wanting to cut people back on that too, and I'm not sure or any of the understanding. But there's also a consultation, and I was going through that last week on my show about CBD becoming more mainstream and how they should regulate it and how they should package it and whether it should be allowed like on the shelf like Tylenol or whether a pharmacist should be handing it out and all these things. And I'm just like, Tylenol is more harmful than CBD is. And you don't have anybody handing out Tylenol or Advil across a counter. I mean, 222s, if you can even get them anymore with codeine. They used to have to hand them out over a T3, I think, or whatever they, with a bit of codeine in it. But again, like in the States, things are different. Now, your Orange Potato, too, has also said that he's going to like lift off and take down some pharmaceutical costs. He's capping them. Oh my fucking Christ, that guy. That's socialism with authoritarianism. Like, what the fuck? Like, anyway. I have no words. And I just don't even know what to think. It's like, does nobody got any critical thinking down there? Maybe I'll smoke some more weed. Open your mind. Don't be too woke. But you're allowed to be woke if you're wanting to smoke cannabis, right? Like, let's face it. If you're on the side of that industry, you're woke. Wokey fucking woke. Goddamn medical started here because of the HIV crisis, for fuck's sakes. Like, anyways, I know. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be political, but yeah, fucking Orange Potato fucking really fucks everybody's shit up. Tariffs. What are you gonna do? Tariff this, tariff the plant, bastard. And that's the funniest thing. We're not allowed to export from the States. We can export to Germany from Canada. We can export to Australia. We can export our cannabis to in between provinces, but not across the US border. And now at our peace crossing where there was like basically nothing in between our two countries, they got fucking ice set up. Checking their people leaving their country coming to ours. Like, the fuck is up with that? Please. But yeah, so you don't dare fucking even you better check your car, make sure you don't even have a fucking roach. And that's the thing, like I've had people that have gone across the US border like years ago, found a roach in an old fish tackle box. It was probably like dried up and they were pulled in like It was fucking brutal. Like held, they detained over an old roach that was like it was a paper. They didn't even know it was there. And it was like, holy fuck, could you imagine if that happened now? Like you're leaving Canada. Like, I mean, I know in some countries you're not even allowed, like I think it's Japan, you're not even allowed to consume anything outside their country. And if you come home and they know find out that you were consuming cannabis in Canada when you're on vacation, you get charged in your own country. Like that's fucking over fucking reach regulation. That's like your international law doesn't apply here. Your laws in Japan don't apply in Canada. No more than our laws in Canada apply over in Japan. Get bent, bud. Like fuck off. Like seriously, how do these countries actually? So, but anyways, so if you're like come to Canada for the weekend, hanging out, make sure, like make fucking sure, because you're gonna get checked at the fucking like Canada's not setting up check stops to check you twice as you're going. I don't think they even do much at the Canadian border when you leave. I don't know because I've never fucking left the country, to be fair. I don't have a passport. I could have left the country like before 9/11 because before 9/11 we just had our driver's licenses. We could fly to, I mean, if you wanted to go to Europe or somewhere, you'd have to have a passport for sure. But if you wanted to go to the States or to Mexico, you just needed a driver's license. And then all of a sudden it was passport us up, Scotty. Because I've had a record of sorts since about 1991 because I was kind of a hothead. That doesn't count. That was a peace bud. So I bounced bad. Okay, I bounced a check when I was 22. NSF check, my first charge. I didn't get my first actual drug charge until I was 35 fucking years old. Not kidding. Anyways, I would like I don't have an extent, but I do. Like I've got an NSF, which is an entering fraud, and so it just looks bad. So I've since that time I've never tried crossing the border because I knew I wasn't going to be allowed to cross the border. Right? Once you go to records, you can't even bother. So it was to me, it was like, why bother getting a passport? I got a record now. There's fucking no point. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere, anyways. And then every year that I've thought about it, because I can travel, it's just in the States that I can't. And I could if I paid them, if I actually went to them and paid them whatever for a US waiver, I could come, right? But it's all about fucking money. It's a cash cow. It's a fucking cash grab. So now because there's three, like my husband and I and my son, um, it would cost me almost $1,000 just to get fucking passport applications put through. And I mean, they'd give them to us. And I mean, the pictures aren't expensive. You can get them done for around $10. It's not that, but I've never had $1,000 that you could just piss away to get passports. Never mind saving for it. We don't have. I don't have money to travel. I've never had money to travel either. But again, that's irrelevant. But I don't have a passport. I'm not sure that I don't know. I'm sure there's other Canadians that don't have passports besides me at 55. They've never left the country. I'm sure of it. But I have no desire. No offense. Before the orange potato, yes. Now, I'm scared. I wouldn't even want to come to the U.S. I wouldn't. I'd have to leave. I'd have to scrub everything. They'd Google my name. I'd be fucking done. The minute I hit that border, poof, I'd be disappeared. Bye. Where'd you go? I don't know. So I'm good. And that's what. And I'm not saying that that's happening per se or what, but that's the information that we're being fed up here. There's a high alert for no travel to the US. We're being told that people are being detained in the US that are Canadian dual citizens or down there going to school. We've heard yeah, that when you get to the border, they're going through your phones, they're going through your shit, they're going through everything, they're fingerprinting you, they're making you carry. I'm good. I'm fucking good. If I wanted to go to fucking Russia, I'd go to fucking Russia. And on that note, I better fucking take a commercial break and thank my beautiful sponsors that we have that keep this network going. And we're really appreciative of that because they help us pay to help for everything. Okay, so I've got to go over here somewhere and find the commercials. I know. I'm actually surprised I even made it here this morning. It took me everything to get out of bed. But I'm here. We'll be right back after we take a quick commercial break.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, and I am back, and I am sending you that. So it's nice to be back. It's a bit chilly here. I don't know what it's like for your weather out there, but I called it a yard fail on the weekend, and that's why I'm in so much pain today. I think it's because of humidity, right? Like the humidity really fucking sucks. Like, and I don't know, it wasn't so humid here, to be honest. Oh, I was gonna get my heating blanket, but look at that. That's what's rolled up in my heating blanket. A moosey. So if I move him, my heating blanket's on. That's why he's laying on it. Poor Mootie. He's laying there. I'm on your heating blanket, Mom. So we'll just leave that there, and maybe I'll I know it's chilly though, but yeah, it's been crappy and cloudy in the last couple of days. But it's probably why my body's so inflamed. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not working. I've got a doctor's appointment. I've got blood work tomorrow. I've got a bunch of shit to do. So I've taken some time off away from the store for a few minutes. I don't know what's going on. We'll see what the doctor says on 14th. But like I said, some days are better than others. Some days I can move just fine. Other days I can barely move at all. And today's one of those days where it's hit and miss. Like 1 minute everything's good, and then my knee buckles out from underneath me, and it's just kind of dealing with chronic pain, right? And then we were at the hospital on Thursday for my son, having a procedure done to see if his issues are pretty much, and they are. He's got colitis too, probably lymphatic like I do. And the poor kid, and I was diagnosed at that early age. And the funny thing is with lymphatic colitis is it's an old people's disease. It's not something that normally, you get it as a teenager. It's something that you normally get when you're an adult, like in your 60s. And I've had it since I was 16. So it's kind of leaning towards that for him, because they said everything looked normal, but they took biopsies, which is what they told me too. And then lo and behold, I'm like, because the doctor come out when I had my procedure done. He goes, "Oh, everything looks good. You know, you must have done a really great prep." I said, "I didn't do any fucking prep, dude." And he looks at me, he goes, "No prep." I said, "No, I took the one prep, and then and I didn't finish doing it. I couldn't even the end of it. There was no way you were sticking anything in there." So, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And then 2 weeks later, my doctor phones me. He says, "Oh, you got." I says, "Oh, imagine that." Like, I was telling them that, but because I hadn't had any procedures done in I don't know how many years, they don't take your word for it. They want you to get retested, so they've got proof that you aren't a liar. And they found out that I wasn't a liar. And I told them the same thing with him. I said, chances are this is what it is. But yeah, let's give a 15-year-old a colonoscopy. Okay. And they did. And yeah, and that was the end result. So here we are waiting on testing, which I'm pretty sure is going to come up the same, or IBS, because they can't really pinpoint it, which is what they do to people that, they can't actually pinpoint. I can't find my papers. I hate it when that happens. And I've put everything away in different drawers and stuff, and it's not, oh, they're there. Not always necessarily where I put things, right? So again, we are back to full-time regular CSP now, because it's been well, we lost one of our members. I still don't know any details on that. But our town actually came out with some stats last week, and apparently the fire department is saying that the overdoses are down. And I'm not saying that has anything to do with the substitution program. I'd like to think that it's been essential and helpful, but I don't know. But that was one thing that made me kind of feel a little better, because I said we're out there doing outreach as much as we can. Like I said, it's hard to get volunteers to come with you that actually want to stick with you. Like, you need some really good dedication there. And I understand it's a tough thing to do, have to go out and and I can't go by myself. Unfortunately, I'm not big enough. And I just don't go out there by myself. So I do a lot of offsite. So that's why the mandate was open to low income seniors, anybody using with any medical need, because there's also a need not just for unhoused addiction. There are a lot of people that can't afford to obtain their level of what they need for medication. And I can't maintain a lot of that either. But at least if I can give them a little bit that helps alleviate some pressure, that's more helpful, I think, than anything. Same with my caramels and candies. Like, I made a great big pan of caramel. And honestly, I haven't sold one of them. I've given them all away. Even my bacon jam. Like, I made medicated bacon jam. I've sold one jar and gave the rest away. And I'm the one that's broke. I'm the one that doesn't have fucking like $2. I got a pile of fucking change so I can go get some parchment paper. Like, that's how bad things are for me right now. And yeah, but again, like, whatever. I will make things work. I will, I don't even know if I have enough fucking gas to get out to Dirty Darts. I'll have to check. But anyways, like, that's a thing, right? Like, you have to do what you have to do, and helping people is what I do. So I will manage and maintain whatever I can to make sure that the substitution program keeps on rolling. Like I said before, if I have to pick bottles out of the fucking ditch, I will. And I haven't had to do that yet, but I will. And because it's helping probably 100 people now, if not more. Just saying. Which I think is absolutely atrocious that we have that many people in a town of the population that I live in, that are that in need. That we've got so many cracks in our system, in our society, that there are that many people that can't meet their bills, that they can't meet all their medical needs, that they can't afford a roof over their head. And all these little modular homes and stuff that the government says that they're going to set up for housing. Well, that's terrific, but if you're houseless and don't have a job and don't have a down payment, it's still unattainable unless you're going to rent them. And then if you don't have a credit rating, then you're still fucked. So I don't know what their fucking plan is here to fucking get all these people in houses, especially when they can't house them because they got no credit rating, no jobs, and no money, including the rest of us. Like, I'm fucked. I don't have a down payment for another house. after I paid for this one and paid my parents out, I wouldn't have any money left over to fucking put a substantial down payment on anything either. Especially because houses are $500,000 now. You need like $60,000 just to even make a fucking dent and not have a fucking mortgage payment that's not $5,000 a month. And then you have to have a job that's paying. My job doesn't pay me $5,000 a month. So how is anybody affording a $500,000 house? Because wages don't fucking match up to, like, even making the money that I make, which is not, it's you, I don't know, $4 above minimum wage, which isn't that great. Well, $18. So I'm making $21 an hour, $45,000 a year. That's still not enough money to pay for a $5,000 a month mortgage because I don't make $5,000 a month. Right? And if you can't, if you don't have that income level, you can't even fucking do a mead test. I don't make enough money to even afford a fucking $400,000 house. I don't make enough money to afford a $300,000 house. And you can't even buy a $300,000 house anymore. So what does that leave us? Right? It leaves us all fucked. So like I said, all these fucking, little homes and stuff that the Canadian government's going to build, people don't have money for down payments and people don't have money to fucking pay for them. It doesn't make any fucking difference, especially if you've got no credit rating and you're freaking living houseless. You're not going to be able to attain anything. So it ain't going to fix fuck all. Just saying. It's a great idea. It's a wonderful idea. But for all these whiner criers that fucking, can't afford fucking anything anyway, how is that going to help? Can't grow weed anymore fucking to make fucking living. I don't see anybody growing massive amounts of fucking coca leaf. What are you going to do? Before we could actually grow weed and fucking, now you can't do that. Yeah, well, that's life. Again, this week on Wednesday night, Al and I will be live on the networks for Pace Radio. I believe they had the psychedelic news this morning, Al and Cindy, and there's network and content all week long and all day Saturday on this network. Like I said, there's a consultation also going on Health Canada's website for the CBD product, and it's consultation on packaging and on whether that should be able to be sold across, under the counter, over the counter, like Tylenol, whether it should be sold in a pharmacy, whether it should be sold in a gas station type of thing, like what the regulation should be for, that, and the manufacturing levels of it. Now, even if you grow hemp, like there's a difference between hemp CBD and cannabis CBD, just saying. And there are actually cannabis plants that are specifically growing now just for CBD. CBD also comes in white powder form. If you get it from the University of Victoria, it will come in white powder, like crystal. And that's actually how it should come, if they're using it in any product. Even this tea that I've got here was, has CBD powder in it. You can see it. Oh my God, these dogs are outside because I was a dummy and left the door open. That fire behind me almost feels like it should be on too because it's fucking cold. Like, when did it? It's May. I get that. It's only like, Mother's Day is just passed. It's just the 13th or 12th. But apparently there was frost out in Wycliffe last night. So again, growing your cannabis plants in the zones that you're in, don't put them out yet. Don't put anything out till after the 20th of May. After the May long weekend, but don't. And in Cranbrook, we always say if there's still snow on Baker, don't put anything in the ground because it's going to snow again. It inevitably will. It always seems to be that way. I don't know why, but it does. All right. So, we're going to go I Love Weed Live. I'm going to promote them too. So it's a YouTube channel called I Love Weed Live. And let's go take a peek at it. I can look maybe on my phone. Oh, cool. So this is it. I love Weed Live. We're going to subscribe. And it's around 6. Oh, live nightly around 6 Pacific Standard Time. So that's an hour behind me. So 7 my time. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This looks great. Well, I'm really glad to be, learning about this. So that's I Love Weed, everybody, on YouTube. Perfect. That was so cool. Okay, so now we've made that connection. Okay, we can't open this because they don't like me. Well, they do. They like me. They just don't like the cannabis. That's it. I guess again, like the Philippines is having another election. I guess the two families are fighting big time, and the former Philippine president, prime minister, whatever he is actually in The Hague right now, being tried for war crimes because he killed so many people that were apparently either they were drug users, maybe they weren't drug users. He wasn't. He was. They might have been assumed to be drug users, and he killed thousands of people to try and eradicate drug use. Well, prohibitions never work. Never mind this. Like that's what I mean. Like why I have a firm belief that all drugs should be regulated. As much as I hate the regulation of cannabis too, but at least I know it's safe. Like it's not full of mold and shit anymore, and full of fucking bags of seeds, and you know what I mean. Like I bought pounds that had 90 grams of seeds in them. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm paying for this shit. That's another fucking lifetime ago. But if it's regulated, manufactured, regulated, well, manufactured, tested, regulated, put behind the amounts. Even if you have to have security guards fucking hanging out front. I don't know what the answer is because people are going to use drugs. And I also want to say that, the thing of it is, everybody makes a big point about, East Hastings, downtown Vancouver. When I was a kid in the 70s, we were always threatened. Don't do drugs or you'll end up downtown East Side. It's always been like that. It's just that now we've got social media and people fucking taking pictures. And now that the drugs aren't the drugs anymore, the drugs are toxic and they're fucking killing people like flies. That's why there's a great big push for it. And it was because one group of women that lost their daughters down to the east side to start to make, a fuss. And it's called Mom Stop the Harms. It's kind of like mad. They got all fucking huffy and puffy and started making a bunch of fucking, yeah. So be very careful about, the groups that you follow too, because some of them are really great. Like I'm not knocking Mom Stop the Harms at all. But some of I don't agree with all their policies. I agree with some of them. But again, at the end of the day, these groups are always out looking for money. Just like MAD was. MAD makes a very big fucking fuss. The government funds them. And then they make them ridiculous fucking commercials that show, a joint. Hey, man, hey, dude. Joint and a beer on one side. The government actually fucking funds that. They give these non-for-profits fucking money, grants and funding to make these ridiculous fucking propagandist commercials that are fucking bullshit. So it's the same thing. Any like MAD? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Some of those commercials just infuriate me. They have a rollover on the guy, and then lying right beside the guy's a pipe that looks like a fucking crack pipe to begin with. Doesn't even look like something that anybody that smokes cannabis would use. And that's their fucking commercial. Don't smoke and drive. Fuck off. Like, seriously, fuck right off. Anyway, that's how I feel. And yes, I'm vile about it. And I don't care. I'm sick of the propaganda that makes people that use cannabis into something that they're not. And that's been happening for so many years and so many years, and the stigma that goes along with it. Like, I'm not calm and I'm not nice, and I smoke cannabis on a regular. So does it really calm people down and make them nice? No, it doesn't. Well, it might. Sometimes, but not always. Especially when, you got so much boiling against you, right? And that's how you feel when you've been fighting for so long. You're in fight or flight, right? And as patients, we're always in fight or flight, right? So we got about 10 minutes left of the show, and I guess we'll do a shout out to a few people like I Love Weed on YouTube. Daryl with his product nohigh.ca, or zerohigh.ca. He's a sponsor of the CSP. I'd like to also shout out to all my CSP sponsors, because we need you and we appreciate you. All the back work gets done as well as the front work. Just to everybody that puts, a foot at a bed every day just to get up and keep working and moving with their chronic levels of pain, chronic illnesses, because that's what we're here for. We're here to educate. And on that note, I'm going to bop out of here about 10 minutes early, because I know there's another show coming on back to me, and I'm freezing to death here. And shout out to, Michelle with her big booby hugs, which I don't have any anymore. And Al and Al, who are my producers that help me have a voice. And like I said, I don't know how long I've been doing this. Well, it'll be 20 years in 2006. Because I met my husband in October 2005. It's 2025, so it's 20 years this year for our anniversary. And then 2006, and because I started this year after I met him. So 20 years coming up, folks. 20 fucking years. 2 decades. That's incredible. And it took us almost a full decade to get us to legalization. So maybe if we keep pushing, we can get psilocybin. Right? Come on. Because there's always a fight, right? There's always something to change. Anyways, you be the change. Quit gouging each other, because that's where we stop it. It's not anybody but you. So be the change you want to see. You have a great day. Oh, potential fraud. Bye. Take care.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.